What's going on? Wrestling in the basement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess so. We're just sticking with it, I guess, for now. Donald Trump is president. Jinder Mahal is WWE champion. So you can be anything in life. Really. Like, you can be anything. Anything you want. It's WWE Backlash. What was the name of this pay-per-view?
Of course.
And NXT Takeover Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Review reaction for both. I'm just going to get it right out of the way. NXT Takeover was better than Backlash. It was. Top to bottom, stronger show. It was only 5 matches. All great matches. The UK Championship match, the NXT Championship match, and the NXT Tag Team Championship match blah, 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 are all standouts. But now you're looking at 5 matches for the NXT versus like 9 if you include the pre-show for the main show. This is why the main show I think was weaker. So let's get through NXT first, then we'll do the main show, then we'll wrap it up. So NXT TakeOver starts with Eric Young versus Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong wins. This is a really strong match. Started off the night really well. Both looked really good. I'm glad they gave it to Roderick Strong. They've been playing these vignettes the past couple weeks. Well, a few weeks ago. And he had a match with Hideo Itami for the number 1 contender. So they've really been building him. So it was smart to give him the win against Eric Young. Eric Young can take the loss. Sanity was good. He kind of took out the other dude's insanity and then took out Eric Young. It was a good match. But like I said, Roderick Strong wins. But let's get through that because then we had Tyler Bates versus Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship. And JR on special commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it, man, was this a good match. Match of the year candidate, hands down. Everyone I know has been talking about it on Facebook, pretty much everywhere. It's literally anything. The only match anyone's been talking about for the most part. Well, the ending a lot too, but we'll get there. This match had everything. It was a very violent match, striking like crazy. You had some beautiful high flying moments.
Yeah.
What was that? That pump handle slam into the DDT was just ridiculous. That moonsault that Tyler Bates hit was ridiculous. There's just so many good spots in this. Pete Dunne eventually ends up winning it on the pump handle slam. It's like a pump handle twist slam. It's almost like I don't even know how to explain it, but either way, it's a great finisher. But he wins. I'm super happy he won. I like how he holds the belt in his mouth.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, he always holds the belt in his mouth, and then he's got his fist up to his chin. If you know Pete Dunne, during that match, they're chanting "Fight Forever." This is awesome. Holy shit. UK, because they're both UK wrestlers. I mean, obviously, it's a UK championship match. They got this UK weekly show coming up that I'm super excited for. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, after the second match...
it'll just fall off, like...
I think it won't, because UK style wrestling is kind of hot right now. You know what I mean? Okay. That whole, like we were talking about earlier, that striker... That really brutal
Well, it's
style.
almost like a striker technician thing, you know?
It's very technical because they did a lot of the joint manipulation in the beginning part of it.
It reminds me of like more Bret Hardy kind of wrestling.
Little bit, almost like a mixture of Bret Hart mixed with Ken Shamrock. So that's a beautiful combination. Then we had, so that match was phenomenal. Go watch it. If you got WWE Network and you haven't watched it, just go right now. Stop watching this video. Go watch that match and then come back and tell me we were wrong. And then you had Asuka versus Nikki Cross versus Ruby Riott. Great match. Asuka wins. I read an article saying that they've built a problem with Asuka.
Yeah.
She's unbeatable. They have nobody in NXT that even close to her level. So there's no one that can dethrone her. Which is, what did you say?
Just bring the belts.
She shouldn't be dethroned.
Right.
She should just keep the belt and just show up. I think so.
And like you were saying, even if, let's say, okay, she leaves and goes to Raw or SmackDown, whatever.
Raw with Paul Heyman would be wonderful. But
that would be wonderful. And then they literally, NXT is like, Asuka, we're going to take the belts because you're moving to, like, you went over to Raw with it. Like, you can't keep that belt. We're going to take it off of you. There's no reason to dethrone her.
Have her take her first loss in over 100 and some odd matches.
She doesn't even need to take her first loss on Raw for a while. She can be undefeated still for like a couple matches.
If you don't have her take that L to lose the belt, then you can keep her undefeated for as long as you want and really build this up. So I mean, let's hope they do that.
I mean, look at the pop. I almost feel like they were waiting on her till after they dropped Shinsuke to see how well Shinsuke did.
Shinsuke's popping. We'll get to that in Backlash. But let's move on from there. We got then right into the NXT Championship match. Yes, the NXT Championship match came before the NXT Tag Team match. It was phenomenal. Glorious, one would say. Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami. This was a hard match too. Lot of good spots in this. A lot of violent moments. Mm-hmm. Everyone looked like they got hurt. Bobby Roode looked like he legitimately injured his elbow, which I'm worried about going forward a little bit. But
really?
I'll have to read it. Well, if it's legitimately injured, he's such a good champion. And you got a lot of people in the back. You got Cassius Ohno. You got Aleister Black. You got a lot of people I'd like to see get shots eventually. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to see Bobby Roode just hang on to that championship, stay down in NXT. He's not needed on the main roster right now. So let's just keep him down there, build that brand back up before you eventually... I mean, Bobby Roode has to come to the main roster at some point. His character's just too well done. Like you said, it's a modern-day Ric Flair take.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm cool with that. Bobby Roode retains. I think I said that, didn't I? Mm-hmm. I did. Mm-hmm. So final match, Authors of Pain versus DIY. It was a ladders match. It was phenomenal. I read something a couple days ago that at a live show, one of DIY hurt themselves, so they weren't going to be able to have this match at all.
Really?
But they went ham in this motherfucker. Like, Jesus. Well, actually, that's a redundancy of what I just said, but whatever. It was crazy. I mean, that spot where Johnny Gargano gets hit with that ladder in the face when he pushes Tommaso Ciampa out of the way, that was wicked. The power slam through the setup wooden one in the corner, that was good. The double power bombs off the ladders onto the other ladders?
Oh, jeez.
Of the Authors of Pain? I can't even remember, but there's so many good spots. There was so many almost. Authors of Pain ended up retaining, but that really is not the story here. After the match, DIY is getting cheered like crazy. I mean, they came out and the ovation was nuts. After the match, they're standing in the ring, the ovation's nuts. They're on the ramp, the ovation's nuts. And Tommaso Ciampa turns heel, starts beating up Johnny Gargano,
throws him through two tables.
Well, he need him, knocked him out, then picked him up on the announcer's table, walked to the edge of the table, and jumped through two tables. It was damn impressive. Like, really, I can't remember I've ever seen a tag team match end a show, be the main event.
Yeah.
I can never remember a time that... I'm sure it's happened. I just don't know or can't remember a time when it's happened. But this was well worth it. I was a little surprised myself, especially after how good the Bobby Roode-Hideo Itami match was. But after watching that match, I understood. I mean, like I said, that card laid out in 5 matches perfectly. Like, honestly, perfectly. So let's move on to Backlash, the main roster. Backlash now gets its shot. I didn't watch the UK special that was on Friday night, because for some reason, every time I tried to watch it after it aired, it froze on WWE Network. I was having a problem with that. So hopefully they have that fixed. I'll try and watch it later, but it really doesn't matter since the championship changed hands at TakeOver and it was such a good match. I'll watch it just to watch it, but inconsequential either way. So Backlash, pre-show, Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English, formerly of the Vaudevillains. Now he's some sort of singer dude. I actually like the character. I really am digging what they're doing with him because he's a good wrestler. And, I don't know what happened to Simon Gotch. I think he either got injured or fired or something. But I like it. I like what they're doing. Ty Dillinger picks up the W. Should have. Perfect 10s all around. Crowd was going nuts. Everyone was cheering 10. They were. Yeah. He's got a big reaction right now. So it's working. So let's go jump right into the main show. First match of the night. Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Nope, just kidding. It's Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura. So Shinsuke Nakamura's debut. Obviously, I've been pumped for this forever. We all know if you've watched any of our videos talking about NXT in the past, how much I dig this guy. I got a Shinsuke shirt on the way. I was hoping to have it for tonight, but that just didn't come to fruition. So we're wearing my boy Finn because it's the only other black one I have. Ergo, why there's 3 black wrestling t-shirts in the mail on their way to me. Thank you, WWE, for the $10 t-shirt sale and allowing me to plug WWE shop, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura to start the show. Awesome match. Went about 20, 25 minutes. The Kinshasa he hit at the end was just phenomenal. It was a really good match.
Vicious. He was vicious when he hit. It also helps, like you were saying, because I was like, Dolph Ziggler, like, what a waste of time. But at the same time, he sells so good. He's like the perfect guy, the more I think about it, to put Shinsuke, because he's a striker. So if you want those punches and his special moves to look mean, you put him up against Dolph Ziggler.
And he's been doing, like I said, he's been doing it for a long time. He sells great. He's a great worker.
He can take the L.
He can take the L, like we said, all that stuff. So Shinsuke wins. Obviously, Shinsuke has to win. You can't build someone up like this,
right?
And then have them lose their first outing. Beats
against Dolph Ziggler.
God, do I hope Shinsuke versus KO happens in the future. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but we'll get to that.
Why not?
So we'll get there. So then they played the Fashion Files skit from Thursday, which I still love because it was funny either way. Brian didn't see it. On Tuesday. They don't do SmackDown on Thursday. On Tuesday. Then we got Usos versus Breezango or the Fashion Police. This was a really good match. Nowhere near the quality of the Authors of Pain versus DIY. But still a very solid match.
I think this is like the only way you can follow up Shinsuke, though.
Because you had him hyped, and this was a good match, so you needed to keep the momentum going, which I'm glad they did early because some of the later matches kind of killed a little bit of that momentum. But we finished really strong.
And this one was funny because
Tyler Breeze, he came out in the janitor outfit from the skit on Tuesday night, and then he changed into
a grandma outfit.
And JBL was really playing up the whole...
You can tell this dude has some serious heat behind him right now. He's not in good graces with the fans because the dude was on point for this match. He was hilarious. He's like somebody get security down there. There's a grandma on the side of the ring.
When it's obviously Tyler, obviously Tyler Breeze. I want to say Tyler Bates. I'm still thinking about that. I've been thinking about that UK match for 2 days. So the Usos retain, like I said. Breezango looks solid. It wasn't a weird finish.
They almost, like, there was a lot of spots where they were almost...
Yeah, a lot of close finishes.
Which, considering the end of this pay-per-view, that would have just brought it up another level. Like,
but it was a clean finish, wasn't it? Usos clean finish in the middle of the ring.
I mean, as clean as you can be with someone being goofy the whole time.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were being weirdos, but it was a clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Maybe this feud continues. I hope so, but New Day's coming back, so... I think this Breezango thing's literally just filling the gap until New Day hits back, and then they're going to have New Day versus Usos, which I'm fine with, but I would rather see Breezango versus Usos. I'm just saying. So then we got Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. So I love the way they actually built the card, the top three. Like, the Sami Zayn Baron Corbin match. First off, Sami Zayn wins, so this obviously is a wonderful thing. It was a wonderful match. Honestly... This was close, my match of the night. It was very close. Didn't get it, but it was close. Sami Zayn winning was huge. I mean, he never wins. He
is
never
a big
wins.
loser. He is a huge
so he
loser.
needed this way more than Corbin. Corbin's still a beast. But yeah.
Well, and even like Sami Zayn was saying, like, people shouldn't view him, and that's because of how Raw booked him.
That's how he's been built, though. You know what I mean?
He's a Dolph Ziggler. He's just a big loser in the mid card that people like, but he always loses. So it's like a nice little.
He's never gonna get past that mid card level.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what this leads to. If it leads to anything, we'll see. Find out on Tuesday night, I guess. Then we got the 6-women tag, low point of the night for sure. The heels win, which I honestly understand why. Carmella, Natalya, and Tamina beat Charlotte, Becky, and Naomi. I'm fine with it. It was. You watch that triple threat match for the women's title on NXT, and then watch that 6-man tag on Backlash.
And the worst part about this
is that's all I gotta say.
When you look at the wrestlers on each side. It's like it should have been.
They could have done something.
Becky.
They could have done something much more creative.
Yeah.
This was a cop out. They didn't do anything. So like, let's throw all the women in a match because we have nothing else to do.
It seems like SmackDown's women's division is turning poopy real fast.
Until I see what the new feuds are going forward and how they're going to book it from here, I'm gonna withhold. I'm gonna withhold.
But that's
judgment.
almost my point.
But I'm just saying, like they don't have a plan as of right now,
right? And they haven't for a while.
No, the Naomi storyline kind of played out through WrestleMania and stuff like that. But either way, it was the weak point of the show. Then we got AJ KO. This was booked match of the night. Pretty much everyone was like, this is going to be match of the night. It was a great match. Mm-hmm. It wasn't match of the night, though. The ending was...
cheatsy doodles.
A little bit. It was wonky. AJ gets his foot trapped and gets counted out. I don't like count-out victories, especially when the other person didn't, like, incapacitate the other person. You know what I mean? If someone incapacitates another person, they can't get up. That's different. Getting your foot stuck in a table makes you look like an idiot.
Exactly. That's what made this hilarious.
Well, and the best wrestler in the world shouldn't be made to look like an idiot and lose by countout. I'm sorry. That's not a good way to end the match.
But it fills KO's character more.
It does, but...
Because you literally can see him put AJ's foot in that freaking hole in that table.
But like you said, this leads to what? Furthering this feud, right?
Exactly.
This feud continues. I don't want that. I want Shinsuke versus KO, and I want AJ to move into the title picture, but we're going to get to that later. Well, actually, in a second.
Exactly. Before I say anything else, of course AJ's not going for that title again.
Let's blaze through this last match and then get into the title match. Eric Rowan, Luke Harper. Luke Harper won. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, it was a good match. It was a good match.
It was a good match. If we weren't already running long on time, I'd probably talk more about it. It was a good match. Luke Harper won. I like what they've been. I like what they've been doing with Eric Rowan. I really do. The part in Talking Smack last week, the part in the pre-show. Well, I've always liked Harper, but I really like what they're doing with Rowan right now.
He was boring when he was like.
They're kind of having him be like the Elias Sampson, where he just kind of shows up and be weird. Except Elias Sampson on Raw is way better because he shows up with the guitar and it's just amazing. But we're not talking about Raw or that. So Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. Obviously, you probably know this by now if you're watching this video and you're a wrestling fan. And I said it in the beginning because I just don't give a shit. Jinder Mahal is your new WWE Championship, people. Yep. But it makes sense. What happened 2 weeks or 3, 4 maybe weeks ago now? Rusev came on a little video from a gym or something and said he's pissed about being on SmackDown. Only way he's coming is if he gets a title shot. He was supposed to show up last week or 2 weeks ago after they got back from London and they just didn't say anything about it. Like they literally teased it on the week before and then said nothing about it the week after. So Jinder winning makes sense if you're going to push Rusev to the moon and put the belt on him, which it's goddamn time they do that.
Yeah, he really needs it.
I mean, honestly, that would just be phenomenal. I mean,
because he was like invincible for a while and all of a sudden he's just kind of like a punching bag.
Well, him and Jinder were what? Partners before he left. They were feuding. So now for him to come back, Jinder to be champion, no one likes Jinder as champion. I'm actually cool with it because Randy Orton's boring, and what else are you going to do for the next 4 weeks?
He's funny sometimes, but I don't really need him as my champion.
Everyone is invested now. Everyone wants to see what they're going to do on Tuesday. You know how many people are going to tune in for the next couple of weeks just to see what storylines are going to play out for until we get to June 18th, Money in the Bank, where he's going to lose the championship. He's going to hold it for 4 weeks. Who gives a shit? That's fine. He's a placeholder for Rusev. As long as he's that, I'm great. But someone did point out a great thing on Twitter. Dude's got no merch. On WWE.com, zero merch. That's the champion has no. You can't buy a Jinder Mahal t-shirt. Maybe. We got to go check that. But honestly, come on, WWE. Do something with this guy. Backlash gets actually an A-. It was a really solid show.
It was.
If NXT Takeover would have been NXT Takeover, I would have been so happy with Backlash. But Backlash was great. A-. But NXT Takeover Chicago, A+, man. What they do in NXT sometimes, the way they've stacked the deck, make it great, get gutted, restack the deck, make it great. It's something, man. You have to respect it.
And somehow Raw and SmackDown just keep struggling to keep people interested, but NXT could, and part of that might have to do with the fact that their entire team gets gutted so quickly that like
you lose all your top people though and you just replace them. That's the thing. They're building stars. They're giving stars to Raw and SmackDown, and Raw and SmackDown aren't taking them and building them into bigger stars. In a lot of cases, they're either screwing up what they did, or it's not working on the main roster. There is a disconnect, too, from the call-ups. I mean, for every Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, There is a Tyler Breeze. There is a Apollo Crews.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? An Ascension. Let's just think about that.
But let's be
Ascension
fair.
was the shit in NXT. No, Ascension was the shit in NXT. They were awesome. They were amazing in NXT as a tag team. They came to the main roster and they tried to make them like a knockoff cross between like Undertaker and Road Warriors, and people just rejected it instead of letting them be their own thing.
Right.
This is what happens, but we're way digressing. Either way, NXT Takeover Chicago A+, WWE Backlash A-. Watch both of them. UK, what up? I can't even. Yeah. Oh, like, share, subscribe next time. No episode this week because we're tired and it's late, and we started late this afternoon. But
That's
yeah,
a
next
lie.
week. No, it's not. Next week, episode 80
Something.
Episode 85. Till then, yeah.